Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be about how I kind of plan for my upcoming week. Now, I am currently filming on a Thursday, so this is not exactly true to form, but typically when I start to pre-plan for the next week, I do it on the weekend, so Saturday or Sunday. And what I decided that I would try and show you guys is for the first week back from the holidays, because obviously I'm currently on holiday right now. I have 2 weeks off and my schedule is not the same as normal. So what I thought I would go ahead and show you is, because I haven't already planned it, is to show you how I would actually sit down and plan for my first week back from my holidays, because that's going to be a normal work schedule for me. So I obviously have my PROJO, and this is typically where I start. I do use Google Calendar, but I'm gonna kind of walk you guys through in here how I do that, just because showing you on Google Calendar is sometimes a little tricky in terms of getting things to be good quality filming and all of that kind of fun stuff. So basically, we're gonna do it over here. So I'm currently on this week, and as you can see, things are a little empty, need to work on that. And this is next week, so this is the second week of my holidays. So we're gonna go ahead and just jump in right here so that I can show you what I would do. So a lot of times I will actually set up 1 or 2 weeks, sometimes even 3 weeks in advance, in terms of, having my week filled in, having all of this stuff filled in, and all of that. I didn't actually do that, so you're gonna get to see kind of from A to Z how I actually set up my weekly. So I'm gonna time lapse a couple of things just so it doesn't kind of take so long, and then I will walk you through the actual setup in a minute. Okay, so in terms of my basic setup, this is essentially what I do. I just fill in the date, the week, so the calendar week. I also fill in the week specifically as it relates to my school, and then I do my days and just a little MTW for the days of the week, and I do from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. because I typically don't get up any earlier than 5, and it's closer to 5:30, and I don't typically go to bed any later than 10, so this really kind of centers on my most sort of usable hours during the day. So the next thing that I do is, even before I get to this top section up here, is I fill in my calendar for the week. So I know, for example, that this first week back from the holidays, I have work. Let's see, so I've got work from 9 to 1. And I use brown ink so that it really stands out. I know that I can't book anything during those times, like we're good to go. I also have a field trip from 9:30, and I'm going to be a very, very sad Caitlin, until 1:30 in the morning. We are getting back super duper late. We're taking a class to Paris, which is gonna be really great, except that they're going to see a play, and the play does not finish until quite late, and so the 1 to 2 hour drive back from Paris puts us returning here very, very late. So I've got a field trip that day. Then I've got this. Now, one of the teachers said that she was going to try and ask to see if, so the students on Wednesday, even if they have 8 a.m. class, they're not gonna come in for that class. They're gonna come in at 9. And she said that she would ask for us, for the teachers, if we could also do that. However, I'm going to assume that we are not going to be able to, so I'm just gonna put my normal schedule in there. Thursday, I work from 8 until 5. Oops, and then Friday is 8 until 6, yeah. There we go. All right, so that is my basic schedule. So kind of the things that I know I've got. I've also got so 4 to 5 on Wednesday. I've got a live chat. I also have to post YouTube for Patreon on Friday, and I post YouTube for everyone on Sunday. So I like to have those written in so I know. I don't think there's anything else coming up. So what I'm gonna just do is check. Oops. So let's just take a peek in here. So as is, I only have this. Oh, I do have a group of my students are going to be on a field trip to England. So I'm just going to write that over here because it's basically the full week. This will just remind me that I have, you know, probably 10 to 20 students who aren't going to be there in various classes. So this is kind of my starting off point. Now, what I like to do then is decide, okay, what are going to be the things that I have to do? So one of the first things that I have to check is in my Prof BUJO is just take a look at, here we go. So I have grades are due, whoops, you can't see that. There we go. Grades are due the second week back. So that means that on my list of things to do is to finalize grades this week. So I need to do that. So let's go ahead and do work. So I need to work on grades. So, and what I like to do is I put in my classes. So I have 7 classes, so I just do a little number representing the level so that as I get their grades in the grade book, I have that written down. I also am going to have to do comments on for their report cards. So once again, I have that in there. So that way I know for sure that I've got to do that. And I'm probably going to leave the rest blank just because the other stuff that I have to do is really going to depend on what I get done during my holidays. But these are things that I can't start quite yet. And so I can go ahead and put that, on this weekly. So I'm going to just do all of my little boxes because that saves me time. I can just go ahead and write stuff in as I go. So whoopsie daisy, there we go. So there's that. Now, the next thing I like to do is, I call it projects, but these are really my intentions. I know I don't always use the same labeling. I mean, I use the same labeling, but it's not always necessarily fully consistent. So during the work week, what I like to do is I want to do 3 lazy dancer tip videos, and then I just do 2 dots and I do a little 1, 2, 3 so that I have, I can cross them off as I go. I want to do 1 talk to me in Korean lesson, and I want to work on my font. And then I tend to do 2 points so that I can just do tick marks of the symbols that I program, because that's kind of the point in the font that I'm working on. If it ends up being something else, then I just write what I have to do after those 2 points. And right now I don't have anything for this last one, so I'm going to leave that as is. So this is where I kind of take the intentions that I have in my bullet journal. So this is for March. So I actually have already worked on my intentions. Here we go. So these are, I've got my intentions filled in. So I take certain pieces of it. So for example, I don't actually write down the walking one because I typically get that during a work week, so it's not worth it. But these are kind of things I have to remember to go above and beyond and do. Then let's see, what exactly is going to be going on this week? I actually don't know. So this, if you look kind of back at previous weeklies, is a lot of times it's social media because I have to do filming. If I don't, it's almost always social media if we're being perfectly honest. So I'm not fully sure what I need to do for this because it's gonna also depend what all I have going on here. But let's kind of keep it as normal. We'll call it social media. Or social, because I'm lazy and I don't always write in the full thing. So I know I'm gonna have stuff for Patreon, so I have to do Wednesday and Friday. I probably at that point, yeah, I honestly don't know what else to do. So, but this is kind of how I go through and see this. Because I'm doing this, you know, assuming this is like a Sunday 2 weeks in advance, I don't have all of the information, but this is normally what I go through and do. So at this point, I would see, you know, if this were a real Sunday, I would basically flip back to my current weekly and I would migrate then anything that I know I'm not going to finish this week to fill in here. But this is kind of how I start pre-planning, things that I know are going to be coming up. The next thing that I would do is, for example, I would book in an hour of Talk to Me in Korean on my Google Calendar. So I usually block out an hour, even though a lot of times the lessons don't take quite that long. So I typically am going to do Talk to Me in Korean on a Monday or a Tuesday because that's when I have a lot of time in the morning. So a lot of times what I do is, for example, I'll do Talk to Me in Korean on Monday and font on Tuesday. And that way I get them done early on in the week. I don't put it off until the end of the week kind of thing. So I would block out just an hour for both of those. I would also go through and make sure my live chat is usually on. So all of these are, well, not this one because that's a field trip, but all of these other ones, things that come up every single week, I have them already set up on my calendar to recur every single week. So that is nice. I also know, okay, I have to work on grades and do appreciations. That means I'm going to block out 1 to 2 2-hour sessions. So for example, I might do a Monday afternoon and a Wednesday afternoon. This week is going to be weird because I normally don't work most of Tuesday. So that is the day that I typically would book a bunch of these kinds of little things that I have to do. And I'm not going to be able to do that because I'm going to be on this field trip. So that is kind of how I start looking at things. So to give you kind of an idea, let's see if I can show you. Oops. So going in my calendar, whoops, there we go. Let's see if I can do this. So let's do today. Whoops. So to give you an idea what this actually would look like is on a week that I'm currently working on, you can see here, like these are things that have finished. So anything that's already done, I've gone through and I've fixed that. But this is kind of how I've pre-planned for the rest of this week. So I said, okay, today I needed to do some pre-planning. I went to film, then I need to work on editing. On Friday, I went to work on some like sunshine and stationery, like website stuff. This is where I've booked in a Talk to Me in Korean lesson because I actually wanted to do 2 this week. So you'll see here, like I always book it after my morning routine for an hour. And then depending on what actually happens, I actually did it during my morning routine and it only took me half an hour. So I kind of will adjust from there, but this makes sure I don't have too many things for the amount of hours that I have in a day. So I clean, I know that takes me about an hour. I need to write in doing grocery shopping. I've booked in, I wanna do 2 hours working on font. I've got sewing stuff. So you can see here, for example, for next week I want to work on work stuff. So I've already blocked in grading, working on my prof BUJO, so my teacher BUJO, font, 2 Talk to Me in Korean lessons, working on prepping units. I've got an afternoon that I want to sew. I've got a couple of little things coming up with, meetings with people, and then I need to clean, go get groceries, and cook. So this is kind of how I start doing, filling in my weeks so that I know where things go. And then, for example, here, these are where I've already got all of my work stuff filled in. I've got the AM routine already filled in, and I've got the PM routine. So I would just start going in and filling in different things. So here, for example, I would change it because this is for this week that we just looked at. I would add in my field trip, and then I would say, okay, I think Talk to Me in Korean would be this day, font would be this day, I'm gonna need to clean groceries, and I could honestly set those up as recurring, but some weeks I have to move them around, so I just haven't done that. But so this is what I start with, and then I go through and I start filling in with the different things that I've got, on here. I start filling in and blocking out, okay, I think this is gonna take an hour, I think this is gonna take 2 hours, and that is how I kind of fill in my week. Now, it's always subject to change, but that at least gives me an idea of what I'd like to get done. And then as the week progresses, I will shuffle things around and, move things to different days if I realize I don't have the time or the energy to do it on that day. But that just kind of helps me stay on track a little bit more. So yeah. That is how I pre-plan my week. The dailies, honestly, are making choices based on what is currently on my Google Calendar, and I write those in as the top tasks that I want to do. So, work is going to be one of them. If it's a day I plan to do Talk to Me in Korean, that goes on my daily. If it's a day that I want to work on filming, that's going to go on my daily. But this is where all of the heavy lifting kind of happens, where I make decisions at the end of each week for what I actually want to do for the next week. So, hopefully that was clear and kind of made sense. If you guys have any comments or questions, let me know down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Hey guys, so if you've made it all the way to the end of this video and are actually watching my end screen and you're not subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would. There's a little button right there for you to do it. And if you're interested in watching some more of my videos, I have links to 2 of my older videos off to the left there, so you can check those out if you would like to, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.